Imagine you open an app on your phone, enter your data, age, weight, habits, and in a few seconds, the exact date of your death appears on the screen. Sounds like a horror movie plot, right? But what if I told you that such technologies already exist? Everyone has heard that artificial intelligence can predict exactly when you will die. But is it true? Or is it just another urban legend of the digital age? Today we will break down this question from start to finish. We'll show you real studies, frightening facts, and unexpected conclusions. And at the end, there's a twist you definitely won't expect. So watch until the end, it matters. So, can a machine know when your life will end? Let's start with where this idea even came from. The idea of predicting death is one of the oldest in human history. Ancient Greeks believed that three goddesses of fate, the Moirai, determined the length of each life's thread. One spun the thread of life, the second measured its length, and the third cut it. In medieval Europe, astrologers created horoscopes, promising to predict not only fate, but also the date of death. Kings and emperors paid enormous sums for such predictions. But with the rise of science, everything changed. In the 17th century, the first mortality tables appeared. John Grant in 1662 was the first to analyze death records in London. He identified patterns in which years people died more often, from which diseases, at what age. This was the first step toward predicting life expectancy mathematically. Then insurance companies appeared. And for them, predicting death became a business. The more accurately you assess a client's death risk, the more money you make. But the real breakthrough happened in the 21st century, with the rise of artificial intelligence. In 2015, scientists at MIT created a system that analyzed patients' medical data, and this system was able to determine which hospital patients would die in the next few months. The prediction accuracy was about 90%. 90%! This number made headlines everywhere. Journalists wrote, "Artificial intelligence knows when you will die." But what was really behind these headlines? We'll find out soon. In 2018, Google developed a neural network for hospitals. It analyzed electronic medical records and predicted the probability of a patient dying within 24 hours. The accuracy reached 95%, and this is not a journalistic myth. It's real scientific work. And then came Death Clock, an app that promised to calculate the date of your death right on your phone. Millions downloaded it, many for fun, but some took the results far too seriously. So the myth of predicting death grew from a mix of ancient superstitions, real science, and media hype. But is there a grain of truth in this? Let's examine the arguments of those who believe. Argument 1. Such systems actually exist, and they work. In 2023, Danish scientists created an algorithm called Life 2 Vec. It was trained on data from 6 million Danish residents. The algorithm analyzed income, occupations, diseases, place of residence, and many other factors. And it was able to predict the probability of death within 4 years with an accuracy of 78%. This outperformed all previous statistical models. AI turned out to be better than classical methods. Argument 2. AI is already used in real hospitals to predict patient deaths. The EPIC sepsis model system, for example, warns doctors about patients with a high risk of sepsis. Sepsis kills millions of people every year, and early warning really saves lives. At Stanford, they developed a system that analyzes patient records and predicts death within 3 to 12 months. Why? So doctors can timely discuss palliative care and preparation with patients. This is not science fiction. This is happening right now in hospitals around the world. Argument 3. AI sees what humans cannot. Neural networks can process thousands of variables simultaneously. When a doctor sees 10 indicators, AI analyzes 10,000 and finds hidden patterns. For example, Google's algorithm predicted a patient's deterioration just by analyzing the pattern of their doctor visits. No doctor would have noticed this, but the machine did. Argument 4. Wearable devices collect data about you every second. Your smartwatch knows your heart rate, oxygen level, sleep quality, stress level. Apple Watch can already detect arrhythmia and warn about atrial fibrillation. There are real cases where people went to the doctor because of a watch alert, and it saved their lives. Now imagine, if all this data is fed into a powerful AI, what could it predict? Argument 5. Genetic tests already show predisposition to diseases. Companies like 23andMe analyze your DNA and determine risks of developing cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's disease. If you combine genetics with AI data, theoretically, you could get a very accurate life expectancy prediction. Argument 6. Even social media can predict health. Studies have shown that Facebook posts can reveal signs of depression months before diagnosis. And depression, as we know, significantly reduces life expectancy. It turns out that AI monitoring your digital footprint knows more about your health than you do. Impressive, right? It seems like AI really can predict your death. But don't rush to conclusions, because now we'll move to the arguments against. And this is where things get really interesting. Counter-argument 1. AI does not predict the date of death. It estimates the probability. This is a huge difference. Saying you have a 40% risk of dying in the next 5 years is not the same as saying you will die on March 15th, 2029. But headlines don't mention this. Journalists simplify, exaggerate, and scare. AI knows the date of your death sounds much more exciting than algorithm estimates statistical risk. Counter-argument 2. Life is too chaotic for exact predictions. You could be a perfectly healthy person and get hit by a car tomorrow. Or you could smoke for 50 years and live to 100. Such cases exist. AI works with averages. But your life is not an average. It's a unique set of circumstances. Counter-argument 3. The data AI is trained on is far from perfect. Medical records often contain errors, gaps, and outdated information. If you never went to the doctor, AI simply has no data about you, and therefore no prediction. Besides, data from one country doesn't apply to another. People in Denmark and people in Nigeria live in completely different conditions. The Life2Vec algorithm was trained on data from Danes. Applying it to an Indian resident is like using a Moscow map to navigate Tokyo. Counter-argument 4. A prediction can change behavior and thereby nullify itself. This is called the prediction paradox. If AI tells you that you will die of a heart attack in 3 years, you will most likely start exercising, eating right, and monitoring your blood pressure. And by doing so, you'll change your fate. The prediction will turn out to be wrong, precisely because you learned about it. But there's a flip side. Some people, upon learning of a bad prognosis, fall into depression. They stop taking care of their health, and thereby accelerate their death. This is called the nocebo effect. Counter-argument 5. Ethical problems. Who should have access to such predictions? Imagine your employer learns that AI predicted a short life for you. You could be fired. Or an insurance company will deny your policy. Or a bank won't give you a loan. This is not fantasy. Already now, some insurance companies use social media data to assess risks. Counter-argument 6. AI is a black box. It often cannot explain why it reached a particular conclusion. A doctor can explain, you have high blood pressure, so the stroke risk is higher. AI just outputs a number. And if AI makes a mistake, and it does, nobody knows what caused the error. Counter-argument 7. Apps like Death Clock are not science. They're entertainment. They use the simplest formulas, your age plus a few factors, and output a date of death. It's about as accurate as plucking daisy petals. Loves me not. But people mistake this for real science, and that's the main danger. Counter-argument 8. Even the best models have serious limitations. Life2Vec predicts with 78% accuracy. That means every fifth prediction is wrong. If weather were predicted with such accuracy, you'd get soaked in the rain every 5th day. And here we're not talking about rain, we're talking about life and death. A 22% error in death prediction means millions of people given the wrong prognosis. And finally, counter-argument 9. AI doesn't account for the will to live. There are thousands of stories of people who were given a month but lived for years. Stephen Hawking was given a 2 years to live diagnosis at 21. He lived another 55 years. No algorithm can measure the human spirit, persistence, and desire to live. So the arguments against are powerful, but what is the final verdict? Time to deliver the verdict. Does an AI exist that can predict the date of your death? And the answer is, it's simultaneously a myth and reality. The reality is that algorithms can indeed estimate your probability of death within a certain period. They do it better than classical statistical models, and they are used in real medicine. The myth is that AI can tell you the exact date of your death. This is impossible. Life is too complex, chaotic, and unpredictable for exact dates. Accidents, pandemics, new medicines, sudden discoveries, all of this is impossible to account for. AI can say, your lifestyle increases the risk of early death, but it cannot say, you will die on such and such date. Therefore, our verdict, the claim AI predicts the date of death is a myth, but the claim AI can assess the risk of death is reality. And the difference between these two phrases is enormous. But wait, we promised you an unexpected twist, and here it is. In 2024, Danish scientists published updated results of the Life2Vec project, and something astonishing was discovered. The algorithm predicted not only the risk of death, it also predicted income level, relocations, divorces, and even personality changes. Essentially, AI learned to model an entire human life from birth to death. Not exact events, not exact dates, but the general trajectory of your life. And this is where the scariest part begins, because the question arises, who owns this information? If the government gets access to such AI, it could decide who gets a pension and who doesn't. If corporations get it, they'll decide who to sell insurance to and who to reject. We're used to AI recommending movies and music, but what if it starts deciding who deserves to live longer? This is no longer a question of technology. It's a question of morality, ethics, and power. And now, a bonus fact that will definitely surprise you. One of the most accurate predictors of life expectancy is not artificial intelligence. It's your walking speed. Yes, you heard that right. Studies have shown that walking speed in older adults is one of the best indicators of how long they will live. People who walk faster than 1 meter per second, on average, live significantly longer. A simple test, walking 4 meters at your normal pace, can tell more about your health than any app. Ironic, right? Billions of dollars invested in artificial intelligence, and one of the best predictors is simply the speed at which you walk to the kitchen for tea. Another amazing fact, the strength of your handshake is also linked to life expectancy. A weak handshake in old age is a statistically reliable sign of increased mortality risk. So maybe instead of downloading apps, you should just walk more often and shake hands more firmly. But let's end on a serious note. Death prediction technologies will only continue to develop. This is inevitable. In 10 years, AI will know even more about your health than it does today. But knowing the exact date of your death? Most likely, never. And maybe that's for the best. Because the meaning of life is not in knowing its length, but in how you live each day. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell. Write in the comments, would you want to know the date of your death if it were possible? We read every comment, and in the next video, another myth that will turn your understanding of the world upside down. See ya! And remember, live in a way that no AI could ever predict what you're capable of.